So for a lot of us, we have a war going on with our astrology chart. Maybe we have a sun that is square our moon, or another very strong aspect in our chart, or a lot of squares with planetary placements. Maybe we have mostly only one element in our chart and we seem to be lacking the other. When I think about a chart, I think about a person who has lots of different colors to their personality. You can almost think about it like we have multiple personalities within ourselves. And I think this is done for us to integrate. I did a video a while ago about the rising sign and how I felt like we read into the rising a little bit too much. But I don't want you to think that what that video was meant to do was to cut out your rising sign and it's bad. Because actually every aspect of your chart should be integrated. The only way to alleviate the war within is to learn from every planetary placement that you have. Let's say that you have a moon in Scorpio and you wish you didn't because it just seems to cause problems in your life. Maybe your Libra Venus is totally happy in the relationship and yet your moon in Scorpio just does not let up and then you just seem to never be able to be happy in your relationship. Well, there's something you have to learn, and the worst thing to do would be to just shut that moon in Scorpio off in a room and isolate it and say, you can't talk to the rest of my personality. We are not going to do business with you. Because this will just give more power to the moon in Scorpio there. If you have a placement that is in its fall, this can add to the difficulty of it. But when people hear that, they think, oh, well, that's bad, right? So like those people must have something wrong with them. Or if you have a lot of conflict in the aspects, lots of squares, then you must be like a very difficult person. I just think of this as complexity, not bad, but something to learn from. Moon in Scorpio needs to be listened to and understood. Research it as much as possible. The instinct when something's difficult is to run away from it, which is actually the opposite. If you deny and run away, it just makes the problem fester and it makes it grow because it goes into our subconscious and it starts controlling everything without us actually knowing it's controlling everything. I also did a video about how there are really no bad placements. And this is extremely true, something that a lot of people get wrong, including astrologers. Every single aspect is there for us to learn from because perspective is the most valuable commodity we have in this experience. People think it's time. Well, it is, because time equals memories, which equals a growing perspective. I really don't see anything as bad. I went through the most traumatic event in my life. I came out of it with such gratitude for what it taught me, and the perspective that I received from that just was incredible. And then it just gave me the thought that everything that we are fearing and that we deny, that we run away from, is often the best stuff in life. So if there's a big door inside of your head that says caution, caution, warning, and there's tape everywhere and you're just like, oh, I need to keep away from that. That's your clue. Head in there. Figure out what's going on there. Your astrology chart can definitely give a clue in. It often has to do with bad aspects or with placements that are debilitated because there's a challenge just waiting to happen here. Like if you have a Venus in Aries, you know, the world teaches us that everybody should be in this happy couple. We should all be happily married and life will be great if you're happily married. And I know I've done some videos on relationships and I do believe in, you know, happy relationships, but honestly, I do have a lot of Libra in my chart. So I'll be very self-aware there. If you have a Venus in Aries, that is a serious clue in that self-love and learning how to love yourself properly is at the core of your life's mission. More than loving another person, it's loving yourself that is going to unlock a lot of doors for you. Is this often difficult position for relationships? Yes, I'm going to be honest about that. But that's because there's a bigger message for anyone that has that position, and there's something more essential to be learned. We all have parts of ourselves that we don't like, and we think that if we deny that part of ourselves, we're going to be happier. We just pretend it's not there, and we overcompensate with something else. This just doesn't work. It's not real, and it's not true. We can pretend that we don't have a Venus in Aries. We can pretend that we don't have a Scorpio moon, but it's still going to be the truth. And the power of that hatred is something that starts from within and then it goes out like a ripple effect from there. So if you have trouble just being super critical of others, or you have like just somebody or something gets your blood boiling so easily and it's almost distracting, it's hard to live your life, then it's a clue in that there's a part of you within that is not being accepted because our external world starts mirroring what's going on inside. One of the reasons we deny parts of ourselves is because we have this notion that things are bad and good. And like I said, some of the very most severe traumas of life, like death and cancer and things like this, can be the biggest learning experiences. It's important to rethink the whole notion of bad and good. I don't even believe in the idea of sin. Anybody that does something that is hurtful to themselves or others is just merely a lack of perspective. And if they had a higher perspective, then they would learn that that would be hurtful. It's the lack of that awareness and a feeling like they have no other option that leads towards things that are hurtful and painful to themselves or others. So if there's a part of your chart that you just really despise or you can't stand or you wish you didn't have that, or you think, oh, I have the worst sun sign or whatever it is, then I would recommend to learn everything you can about it, to try to embrace and listen to that aspect of yourself, to try to understand it, and through that understanding of it and what it has to offer, because every single placement has something to offer. You have a gift to give to yourself as well as other people. Through that, you will learn to love yourself more. You'll learn to embrace that part, and through that process of loving yourself more and giving yourself more understanding, you'll have more compassion for everybody. You'll have less hate and denial for others. I think about yo-yo diets and how unsuccessful they are. You know what? If you have a sugar tooth, then listen to that sugar tooth and figure out why you have a sugar tooth. Figure out what it's trying to tell you and throw that questioning up into the universe and the answer will come back to you. And maybe you'll decide that you get one candy bar every week and you'll realize that that sugar tooth really has more to do with the fact that you love hugs and you need more physical touch and more hugs in your life. So instead of leading a life of self-denial, let's start embracing who we are. I'll see you guys for the next video.